It seems to have been confirmed that at the beginning of the story, Chisha will no longer be as rude and hostile to the Rover as she was in the beginning of CBT 1. She's in fact going to be one of the people who's going to help the Rover at the start of the story. Now, it's not confirmed if every other character in the game isn't going to be wary of the Rover, but this is one of the things that Chinese players complained about a lot because in their version, Chisha was extremely very rude to a degree that not a lot of people liked. Now, before I move on with the story, let me talk about the new character. This girl here has not been seen in any of the previous releases, be it the technical test or the first closed beta test. And this girl is extremely very cute. And this is coming from someone who doesn't normally appreciate the beauty of any anime girls. To be clear, I don't even see any beauty in them, but this girl is extremely very cute, which is also why she's a thumbnail. From the gameplay that we see on screen, she seems to be a close range melee type character, just like Yuan Wu. Now, we don't have confirmation on what her skill is exactly, but it seems to have something to do with these beads that we see flying around her. It'll be interesting to see what exactly she does, and I believe this character was actually teased by mistake by Kuro Games when they posted on Facebook, but I'm not going to show the post here because they deleted it. And then aside from this character, we have this character who, when I saw, the first thing that came to my mind is the amount of Genshin Impact players that are going to shout that this is a copy of Gaming. Now, here's the thing. Before anyone goes on with the accusations of Gaming, remember that Closed Beta Test 1 happened before Genshin Impact revealed Gaming. And this character has actually been redesigned because this character is actually Awu from Closed Beta Test 1, but he seems to have been reworked. Or maybe he's not Awu, maybe he's the brother of Awu or someone close to Awu. But when I saw that lion head thing, I immediately thought of Awu from Closed Beta Test 1, and I think that's who he is. So we'll have to wait and see. And then the last new character that we need to talk about is Kakarot. Now, this character was actually shown in Closed Beta Test 1, but he was not playable. He seems to be a great sword user just like Jian, and we don't know what his kit is yet. We'll have to wait and see as time goes on. There are also some other characters that were teased, like Jinxi over here, the girl that Sanhua, the character that I like, is serving. But I do know that these three characters are most likely going to be playable. There also seems to be a new boss, and I'm very confused with this boss because I think this boss is actually Scar, one of the last bosses we fought in CBT 1, but at the same time I'm also confused because I did not see this goat head thing in CBT 1, so I'm confused whether this is the Scar boss or if it's a new boss that we're going to fight in the Scar domain. It remains to be seen, but just keep it in mind that there seems to be a new boss. If it is the Scar boss, then it's probably been reworked to have some other interesting features. We've also been introduced to one of the new antagonists in the game. Now, I do not know what this girl's name is, but I believe we've seen her in CBT 1. She does look a little bit different, which probably means she got reworked a little, but that's interesting. Now, for those of you who in CBT 1 and the technical test always complain that the graphics were not good enough, they were too dull for your liking, I'm happy to report that Kuro Games has actually listened to you guys and has actually decided to give us a middle ground. We have a lot of places now that are very bright and vibrant, and we also have some places that are more dull and lifeless than anything else. I think this is actually a very good middle ground, as technically this is a world that is recovering from the lament, so there should be some places that are more bright and happy, and then some places which are more deserted than anything. Apart from the Scar boss, we also seem to have another boss fight where we're going to be chasing an enemy in the air. Now, I'm not sure about this. I don't know if this is a boss or whether this is an open world challenge. It looks like an open world challenge, but it could be a boss. Keep your eyes peeled for that. I also think that the enemies have been redesigned because this enemy over here, I do not remember being this buff. Now, I could be wrong, and if I look back at my old thumbnail where I talked about the echoes, this is the exact same enemy that I use, and it doesn't look this buff. Now, I could be wrong, but I think that I do think that the enemy models have been improved. Another thing that we see is that we most probably can use echoes as mounts in the open world. Now, this is speculation and could be subject to change. I'm not sure yet, but when we see this cutscene, we see the Infernal Rider, which is one of the bosses that we fight in the open world and we can get an echo of, being used to traverse on a track. Now, this could be an event, and this could also be a feature that we have. I pray it's a feature that we have. Being able to use mounts in the open world would be awesome as hell. But like I said, that remains to be seen. Now, getting back to the story, I was one of the people who didn't dislike how Chixia was treating the Rover at the start. Now, Chixia, from the way I understand her character to be, is supposed to be like an impulsive character that normally, sometimes, not all the time, acts without thinking. So when she was actually taking out her frustration about Yang Yang being hurt and all of that on the Rover, I sort of just was fine with, because to me it's like she's young, she can do some impulsive things that are stupid. And yes, even though her anger at the Rover is unwarranted, he's still someone who's new to the world and no one knows him, and then immediately he appears, her friend gets hurt. It's like, what is going on? So I can understand that. And then adding the fact that right after this new strange person appeared, he beat a Threnodian crownless and then absorbed the crownless into his own body. Like, it's 100%. Like, even if she's not treating him like an enemy, at least there should be something there. That's what I thought. But a lot of people did not like it, especially in the Chinese sector. Now, when I asked what the problem was, they said that her comments were a little too rude in the Chinese translation, and the Chinese did not like that. So I guess it's fine. Now, here's the thing. It's not confirmed that other characters are not wary of her. I think I said this at the intro. And one example of that is right here. Now, I think personally that this is a scene right after the crownless fight. I could be wrong. And in this scene, we see Yotan actually checking out the Rover. Now, I think this is the scene where Bailian is trying to question who this person is, how the person was able to do that. I could be wrong. This is pure speculation on my part, but it remains to be seen. I personally don't want to see that plotline removed. I would really like to see some people be cautious around the Rover, because this is a new person. We don't know what the person can do. We don't know where he came from. He just appeared in a gorge and is practically broken. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Now, if they're going to remove that plotline, I believe they're probably going to rewrite the whole story and change it. And I'm interested in seeing how exactly they change the story. So down in the comments, let me know what you think about it. Do you think that they're going to change the story entirely, or maybe just that bit about people being wary about the Rover? And if they change that bit about the Rover, will it bother you as much? Now, there are some things that were not confirmed in this closed beta test. We don't have anything about the gacha. We don't know what the gacha looks like, which is to be expected. We don't have anything on the endgame. We don't know whether there's any endgame content that's coming. We did see this game's version of the Spiral Abyss, but aside from that, we did not see anything else. Now, for those of you who are already scared, don't worry. Kuro Games definitely will cook something for us. They're probably saving everything else for TGS, and then at TGS, they'll probably reveal the rest to us. I'm actually surprised that they teased the closed beta test so early. Like, it's absolutely very shocking. I think that this was not planned. I think personally that they're trying to experiment with something. So with that said, let me know your thoughts about the new trailer. And if you haven't registered for closed beta test 2, I've already made a video on that. It's on the top right now. Go and check that out. And I hope to see you guys in closed beta test 2. Take care, guys.